You are listening to BSSN Wrestling with your hosts, Blake Wright and Brian Armand.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of BSSN Wrestling. My name is Blake Wright, and I'm the creator of BSSN Sports. And joining me live today in living color is my good friend Jeremy. Jeremy, how's it going, bro?
Dude, we've been anticipating this for a long time, so it's good to be here finally.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. So let's get to it, guys. And by the way, we are recording this on Friday, December 26th. Hope you guys had a very, very Merry Christmas, and this is our gift to each and every one of you, a complete WWE review podcast. So you guys know the drill. We always get started out with the fan mail. So our first question comes from Michael Hartman. Big props to Michael Hartman. He's an adamant fan, very, very consistent, always mailing us questions and that. And if you're interested in doing some fan mail, all you got to do is DM us on our personal account, BSSN Sports, and we always do the first three that we see. So the first question, like I said, comes from Michael Hartman, and he asked, how long do you think Roman Reigns will be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion with the authority breathing down his neck? I'll go ahead and lead off on this one. In my mind, Roman Reigns will be the champion until next summer. The plan right now for him is to headline WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar for Reigns-Lesnar Part 2. Lesnar's going to be the new number one guy for the authority after he wins the Royal Rumble, and I think Roman Reigns will beat Lesnar at Mania. Now, when will he lose it? In my mind, he's going to lose it this summer. So here's the plan. I think Seth Rollins is going to come back at the Money in the Bank, and he's going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase for the second time in his career, so tying CM Punk's record. And also, so the main event going into SummerSlam will be John Cena versus Roman Reigns. And in my mind, John Cena is going to win. He's going to become a 16-time world champion. And people are like, oh my gosh, Blake, we all know you're not a big Cena guy. Yeah, I know, but listen to me. He's going to win his 16th world championship. Out comes Seth Rollins, cashes it in, and becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion for the second time. Jeremy, do you agree, or what's your answer to this
I don't
question?
have a timeline for Roman Reigns. I don't have a timeline for anybody who holds that title. All I can say is they're all pawns, just holding it. Because if Seth Rollins was here, he'd be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
So all I know is whoever's holding it is just holding it and keeping it warm until Seth Rollins comes back. If it sounds familiar, it is, because it's exactly what Seth Rollins said on Monday Night Raw, and he's telling the exact truth.
Absolutely. And then we won't spend much time on this question just because it's a short question. Jim Dockery from Kentucky asked, will The Rock ever come back? Yes, he will. He was supposed to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania, but that plan got scrapped just because of The Rock's filming of a movie. So, he's still in good shape, so I still think we might see an occasional appearance from him. And I'm not willing to say we're going to see another match. I'm going to say maybe another match, but we definitely haven't seen the last of Dwayne Johnson. Jeremy, what do you think?
Exactly what you said. I mean, I do think we'll see a match or two here and there, but we haven't seen the last of him. He's the Undertaker right now, just popping up every now and then, but Hollywood's his main focus right now.
Yep, absolutely. And also, before we stop talking about The Rock, congrats to him on the birth of his second daughter.
Little girl, yeah. She's beautiful.
Very cute kid. Wish him nothing but the best. And also, hopefully we get to see some other good movies from him. So then our final question of the day came from Corey Chaplin, and where he asked, is 2016 the right time to make Kevin Owens your top heel? For example, putting him in the world title picture and having him headline pay-per-views. I don't think he has, the look to be. He has the ability, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have the look. He doesn't have that corporate look to be the number one guy. But I do see him feuding with Roman Reigns, right around Extreme Rules, or maybe right around Payback. But I don't think he'll be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion in 2016. Maybe, and this is a big maybe, 2017. But he's a great heel. Don't get me wrong. And right now, in my mind, with the roster that the WWE has, with Seth Rollins being out, with Brock Lesnar, still MIA, I think he's the number one heel. Jeremy, what do you think?
Absolutely not. We still got Zack Ryder. We got Santino Marella. No, who else is there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he'll be the top heel because we do have guys like Seth Rollins that are
Yeah.
the top heel, but he will definitely be up there. He's got the in-ring ability.
Yeah.
And he's got the promo ability to cut great promos.
Mhm.
But he will definitely be up there as one of the top heels.
Absolutely, and I think him losing the Intercontinental Championship to Dean Ambrose was a blessing in disguise because it takes off that mid-card belt, and then it, pushes him, to be able to be a main eventer. People are like, oh, but he lost the title. Well, think of Randy Orton when he lost the Intercontinental Championship. What did he do? He went out and beat Chris Benoit for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam, became the youngest world champion of all time. Now, I'm not
His career
saying,
went uphill from there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that, Kevin's about to do it. Like I said, I think 2017 will most likely be his year. So great questions. Like I said, if you're interested in sending in anything, all you have to do is DM our Twitter account, which is BSSN_sports. And we always do the very first 3 that we do. So thanks so much for those questions, Michael, Jim, and Corey. So this is going to be, like I said, a complete WWE review. We are recording this on Friday, December 26th. So if something happens on Saturday or Sunday, that is why you're not going to hear it in this podcast. So let's get this, on Sunday or Monday. Or Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday.
Yes, it's Saturday. Yeah, sorry, it's not the school year. I've lost my track of days. So let's go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty. This is the WWE review. We're going to be reviewing Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, Tribute to the Troops, and NXT. So let's go ahead and start out chronological order. We're going to review Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns and Stephanie McMahon. That's pretty much what opened up the show. Stephanie McMahon came out, was hyping up the fact that it was the Slammy Awards. And she also was talking about Roman Reigns, how she still has punishments. And it was a bit odd because Roman Reigns eventually, walks down the stairs like he always does. Comes out to a big pop, so good for Roman Reigns. He's still over with the crowd. But then Stephanie McMahon looks at him and, tells him to leave. And then, Roman Reigns is like, oh, y'all want to see her get really mad, and turns his back to her. And she's like, don't you turn your back to me, mister. Which sounded very mom-son-like. Like it feels like a conversation that I maybe once had with my mom when I was like 11 or 12. So bit odd, but it got the job done. But also on the way up of Roman Reigns going up the stairs, Steph announced 2 matches. The Usos are going to be in a handicap match against the New Day. And then the main event was now announced, which was Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose, which would be held inside of a steel cage. What do you think about it? I thought it was odd, but it got the job done.
Yeah, it was a very strange segment, especially, like you said, since if Reigns would have stayed in the ring, she would have told him to get out. But once he left, she was like, yeah, you're a coward, keep walking. So he did the right thing by just, ignoring her. But it was a weird segment, got the job done. It was a good setup to announce 2 of the matches for Raw that night, so it did the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So then after that, the breakout star of the year was announced, and Ziggler announced the winner. And this is actually very interesting. I want to talk about this. Before, we all know Neville won it, and we were all surprised because we thought Kevin Owens deserved it, and everyone's like, oh, that just shows it's rigged. Actually, it's not. Someone tweeted at Joey Styles asking him, and Joey Styles is a WWE employee. He's the vice president of something. I know he's not the vice president of talent relations, and also big props to David Shealy. He's a member of BSSN for pointing this towards my attention. But the voting, he said, is indeed real. So it's not rigged, and everyone's like, so how come Kevin Owens didn't win? Well, it's because the kids were voting, not the adults. The kids hate Kevin Owens. Why do they hate Kevin Owens? Because they beat their hero, John Cena. But big props to Neville winning it. I was trying to think of some things Neville did this year that would make him, deserving of this award. But in my mind, the only real bright spot that he had this year was his WWE World Heavyweight Championship match against Seth Rollins. That was, I think, a few weeks after WrestleMania. I thought it was a good match. But congrats to Neville. He's a good wrestler. Jeremy, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I know I wasn't the only one who thought it was rigged because I was like, well, I certainly thought Kevin Owens deserved to win that. And then I just have him come out there and do a little promo and get in Ziggler's face when they've been feuding. I was like, okay, well, that was obviously rigged to set up a little fight between him and Ziggler. But I guess it wasn't. And then,
Yeah.
like you said earlier, I guess that's good impromptu planning
Yeah.
by Kevin Owens to think, oh, well, I didn't win. Well, I'm going to go out there and cut a little promo. So.
Yeah, and he told Ziggler that if there was an award for the has-been of the year, that it would be Dolph Ziggler, which I
Yeah.
thought was funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Ziggler's a great talent, but, just shows the pure skill that Kevin Owens
Must have planned something real quick right before they went on.
has on the mic, and he's arguably probably the best talker on this current WWE
definitely.
roster. And then a match was set up, Ziggler, Owens, for later on the show. But then next was Bray Wyatt versus Kane, and we don't need to talk much about this because pretty much the Wyatts interfered. They beat down Kane. Then Team ECW, which consists of 3D and Tommy Dreamer, came out to save him. So we got to see this match for the third time. Like, they were beating a dead horse. They've beaten him now, not once, not twice, but 3 times. It's time for the Wyatts to get better booking, but at the end of the day, we got to be content with it. Why is that? Because the Wyatts are winning, and they're, they need to get some wins if they want to be known as the new face of fear. Jeremy, what do you think?
Definitely. The rivalry should have ended at TLC. I think we talked about once they took them out at TLC, should have just ended and then found somebody new for the Wyatt family.
Yeah, this is not a feud that people want to see become a perpetual feud. They don't want to see this over and over and over again. They get it. And the sad thing is, too, is like Team 3D and Tommy Dreamer, they're ECW originals. 3D is future WWE Hall of Famers, but they've kind of turned into jobbers as of late. They're just putting people over as of late, but they're still respectable and they still deserve, a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame. So after that, actually, before we get to that, there were a few botches that Jeremy pointed to my attention while we were watching it together. Jeremy, tell them about those botches.
You guys probably noticed it, but when Kane went in to do his entrance pyro, they didn't go off. And this isn't the first time it's happened to him, but also Bray Wyatt was in the corner doing his little mankind, rocking back and forth, whatever. And the ref had to tell him to get out of the corner because Kane was going to light his ass on fire, and the fireworks didn't go off. Go back and YouTube back when he was a tag team in 2005, 2006 with Big Show, and it happened then as well. And it's so funny because him and Big Show were both heels, and when he does it, you can tell he freezes and he's trying so hard not to smile.
Yeah.
And if you look in the background, Big Show is just smiling from ear to ear. And it's one of the funniest moments, in my opinion, because these are 2 big monsters who are supposed to be heels, and they're trying not to laugh because Kane's fireworks didn't go off. So when you get the chance, go look that up. It's hilarious.
Yeah, definitely go YouTube that. All you gotta do is probably just type in, Kane Pyro fail. We'll tweet out a link to the YouTube video in the incoming days. So you guys can find that. But then after that, the LOL moment of the year was announced, and it was won by R-Truth with his Money in the Bank promo, where pretty much he came out and he was like, oh, I'm going to win the Money in the Bank, and then Kane was like, you're not even in the match. So yeah, it was pretty funny, but in my mind, the funniest thing out of all the candidates was the Niagara commercial, which was like the knockoff Viagra commercial. It had a really like Attitude Era-esque feel to it because it's like, oh man, like they're joking about erectile dysfunction, and that's something like that the Attitude Era was very infamous for, was like the penis jokes, and stuff like
sex
that.
and violence.
Yeah, so I was like, man, but I definitely thought that was funny. That commercial or that little thing was put together by Damian Sandow and Miz, because Miz was like, oh, look at me, I'm a big star, this is my new commercial, and then Damian Sandow turned it on as a joke. And
He's such a joke.
Yeah, and I thought it was hilarious. And by the way, I'll say this. Miz, I will take your movie seriously when one of them actually makes it to the theaters.
Makes it to Redbox.
It actually makes it to Redbox, yeah. And that's sad, too, because Redbox is known for putting in movies that make it to theaters.
Exactly.
So it's like, Miz, get on, instead of being on the WWE Network, get on at least Redbox or something. Like, it's just pathetic.
Stone Cold's made Redbox.
Yeah, the Condemned and all that. Like, it's just pitiful. But anyways, R-Truth, that was pretty funny. He deserved it. And then the OMG moment of the year. Now, that was announced by Paul Heyman, so there's a surprise right there. Everyone got to see Paul Heyman. And whenever Paul Heyman's on television, it's must-watch television. Like, you can probably figuratively feel the ratings going up whenever he gets on there because people turn up the volume when that happens. So that was definitely nice to see him. But he announced that the winner was Kalisto, which, okay, like, yeah, I understand. Because, like, when Kalisto did that SDS through the ladder, I literally said, oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, there's little room for error when it comes to ladder matches.
Yep.
And that was some of the greatest ladder matches I've seen since the Dudley Boys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, the spear to the Jeff Hardy while he's hanging from the belts or stuff like that really makes fans jump off their feet. And that, when I saw that, was just like, wow.
Yeah, and that's going to be a memory that no current WWE fan will forget. Like, you will be showing that to your kids one day. Like, look at this guy. Like, look what he did. And the thing about that, too, that made me say, oh, my God, was that, you know, that was such a dangerous spot. You know, Kalisto could have easily, you know, broke his tailbone.
His spine.
Like, that could have been a career-ending thing, but he still did it, and I'm glad he's okay. But Kalisto deserved it. But someone still can make the case for Seth Rollins' cash-in at WrestleMania. That was another moment where I literally said, oh, my God. But you know, maybe, you know, the kids, because let's just admit it, you know, the kids were the only ones that was voting. I think the only one I voted for was the Seth Rollins one on Twitter. I think I retweeted a tweet to vote for him to be the superstar of the year because I knew he deserved it. That was the only one I voted. But I didn't get on the WWE app and vote for the awards. But, you know, maybe it's because Seth Rollins' cash-in, you know, happened, 9 months ago?
Yeah.
9 months
Kind
ago?
of lost its
feel, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But Kalisto, he definitely deserved it. So
we think about how much Kalisto could have hurt himself. Think about Uso. I mean, he just kind of fell right into a ladder, too.
Yeah, we forgot about one of the Usos. I think it was Jay Uso. Yeah, so both of them.
Cool moment.
So then up next was Ziggler versus Owens, which it got announced right after the brawl, like I said. But in my mind, it was the best match on Monday Night Raw. Whenever two great performers like Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler get together, you know something's going to happen. You know it's going to be a great match. And in my mind, it was a 5-star match. Went back and forth, had a great feel to it. Both of them were hitting each other's well, not each other's, but they were both hitting their own finishers on each other. And you know, I thought it was a great match, 5-star. Owens won with the pump up or pipe up power bomb, whatever you call it. It seems like everyone calls it something different. I call it the pump up power bomb. But KO won. I thought it was a great match. Jeremy, how you feel about this one?
Same. Ziggler and Owens going into that match, I obviously thought Owens was going to win that match, but it was one of those matches where they did a good job storytelling, and I truly was convinced that, hey, maybe this match could go, you know, Ziggler's win. Maybe Ziggler could pull an upset, and I was truly convinced at one point that this is anybody's ball game. So when you can convince me, a guy that can almost predict every match just because I've been watching it so long, that it's anybody's ball game, you know it's a good match. So I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say, Kevin Owens, he's doing great things, and he's a future star in this company. In my mind, he'll be a champ in 2017, possibly. But I got to say, people like to dog on Ziggler because he's had a really rough year. But you got to remember, Dolph Ziggler has come such a far way, you know, since his Spirit Squad days when he was known as Nikki. So hopefully, you know, Ziggler can get some W's rolling. You know what I mean? Like, I want Ziggler to be a heel. He's a better heel than face. I don't think he knows how to be a good face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Ziggler's just a much better heel. Like, the whole entire show-off thing, like, I missed that. You know, when he would like have a sleeper on and like how he'd do like a somersault while he's doing it. Like, I thought it was sweet. So I missed the show-off Ziggler. But anyways, let's get on to my mind the best part of Monday Night Raw. The announcement of the Superstar of the Year, which we were both a little surprised. When we were talking about it, we were like, I thought was going to be, this is what they should have like ended the show with.
The main event award.
Yeah, but it kicked off the second hour of Raw, but it was announced by Stephanie McMahon that it was Seth Rollins, and that promo gave me chills. The whole entire redesign my knee. Rebuild my knee and reclaim my WWE World Heavyweight Championship that I never lost. And it looked like he was about to cry. When he's like one wrong spot and I lose my championship. And then when he like looked up and got all mad. I was like, holy crap. And how he told, I don't care if it's Roman Reigns or anyone else, you keep that throne warm. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I cannot wait. I can't even,
got you excited.
You guys can't even fathom how excited it made me because the future of the undisputed future Seth Rollins is looking bright, and get well soon, champ. Me and Jeremy miss you.
Yeah.
So.
I liked it when he came out. I thought he had broken character. He was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And then he gets on that microphone and was just, I would thank all you fans for voting for me, but in all seriousness, who are you going to vote for? Because nobody deserves it more than me. And I was like, what a savage,
Yeah.
So, we are wishing him a speedy recovery. We want him back.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a backstage segment with him and Tom Phillips, and he actually said he's ahead of recovery time.
I like to hear that.
So, if there is some possible way that he could come back for WrestleMania, imagine that pop of that crowd of 100,000 plus when he returns. I'm getting goosebumps in the back of my neck thinking about it. More than likely we'll probably see him come back right around Money in the Bank, or now that they
wins it again and then cashes it. No,
and the same night. Can you imagine that?
Same exact night.
God, that would be amazing. So, okay, we're getting a little carried away, but God, we have so many great ideas to see Seth Rollins return. Big things. Yes, and people, this is the last thing I'm going to say. A lot of people didn't appreciate his title run. People didn't realize how big of a part of WWE he was until he left. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah.
You don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yep. So he's you could arguably say that he's one of the most valuable, not the most, one of the most valuable performers the WWE has to offer. So after that, it's always a tough act to follow that because that crowd went nuts when Rollins came out in his crutches and knee brace and delivered that promo. But it was Alberto Del Rio versus Jack Swagger, which this one, Jeremy's fake snoring right now because it put him to sleep. But it was awful. It was a terrible match. But the highlight of the match was not even the match itself. It was the announcer turn, John Cena.
Yeah. It's just, this rivalry has no sugar to it. I mean, there's no...
Yeah,
there's the title.
Yeah.
But, when it first started, it was interesting because you had the former manager versus former client.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was interesting. But now the manager's gone, too, and it's just, there's nothing to it. Yeah. They're just dragging it.
If Zeb Coulter was here, it would be average. But now that he's not, it's just terrible. And I honestly think that Jack Swagger is going to go bye-bye because it looks like Alberto Del Rio is going to be wrestling John Cena for a little bit. So that'll...
weed the people.
Yes, as weed the people. For anyone that doesn't know that reference, pretty much, you guys forgot Jack Swagger right around his weed the people days when he's getting pushed, when he's going into WrestleMania facing Alberto Del Rio versus... for the World Heavyweight Championship.
This was a couple of years ago.
Which was crazy to think because... Swagger in a title match at Mania.
Yeah.
Now you think about it and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But back then you're like, okay. But anyways, right around that time he got in trouble for having weed. So instead of saying
weed the people.
Yeah, I made
You actually made that sign when we went to
SmackDown
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I made the sign and it actually didn't get taken. And it just said weed the people.
Yeah.
Weed as in marijuana, not weed, W-E'-D, weed, W-E-E-D. But definitely a clever idea. Probably one of my better, more creative ideas. You know what I mean? Forget my art teacher in 7th grade for telling me I wasn't creative.
Yeah.
Because damn it, that took a lot of creativity.
Everyone's got a creative side, right?
Right? Yeah, except Vince McMahon.
He's a billionaire. How dare you?
But anyways, Cena's return announcement. Speaking of Cena, he won the Hero in All of Us award, which in my mind, he's the man that deserves it. And when he retires, the award should be named the John Cena Award because in my mind, I think a synonym of the word hero is John Cena because it's exactly what he is to children, and you got to respect him for that. Yeah. He's granted the most wishes out of anybody in the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I hate him, but you're right.
You got to tip the hat to him. I'm wearing a snapback, so I tip my hat back to John Cena, and I can't wait to see him back. But the thing is he wasn't there, no satellite or anything like that. So he was actually the first person of all the award nominees, first of many, to not make an appearance after winning his award. And speaking of awards, the next award was the surprise.
Well, here, let me cut you off real quick, because the Hero in All of Us award was actually another botch. Did you notice that one? It was presented by Mark Henry.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a huge botch, but it was just kind of made me chuckle. They came back, for some reason, he was in a real giddy, happy mood, I noticed. And I was like...
It's probably because he hasn't been in television for so long.
He was presenting the Hero in All of Us award, so he had to be very... I don't know, but it was very weird. And they went to commercial to tally up the votes, and when they got back, he goes, and the winner is, and pointed to the Titantron, as if the Titantron was going to reveal who the winner was, and they were like, oh, and then opened the envelope, and I was like, you dummy.
Yeah.
There's just kind of another funny little botch for you, so.
Yeah, be sure to, you guys need to follow Jeremy on Twitter, Tonto Jr. He'll let you know. It's in the bio of the BSSN Sports account, because he'll point out all the botches. Like he's the guy that pays attention to detail. Like he catches the smallest things.
Been watching it too long.
Yeah, but anyways, up next was another award presentation, which was a surprise return of the year, which was won by Sting. Which I thought was the right choice because, I knew Sting was going to return that night because, I look at dirt sheets and all that type of stuff, so I'm big into spoilers for some reason. I know I need to stop, but it's kind of like an addiction, So
that is an addiction,
so,
knowing you got to stop, but you can't.
I don't know. Maybe I need to go to like a rehab for reading spoiler alerts or something like that because it is an addiction. Like I check Wrestling Inc. like 10 times a day. Like literally, like when I open up the Safari in my phone, it always like says in the most recently visited, like that section. It always says Wrestling Inc.
Oh my gosh!
So it's just like I need to stop looking.
I worked for them for one day.
Yeah. Jeremy worked for them for one day, and so did I.
I gave them spoilers when I went to SmackDown.
Yeah. Then like when I was at Raw, like remember I was sitting like the dark match info.
Yep.
So we both worked for Wrestling Inc. for one day.
Yeah,
so,
still got their number.
Yes, and speaking of Wrestling Inc., you guys might have saw the great Vince Russo, who's the voice of their podcast. He actually tweeted at me and talked to me for a little bit, so that was pretty cool. But hey, don't be listening to his podcast. Why? Because our podcast is better and it's more entertaining. And if you don't know who Vince Russo is, Vince Russo is the former the creative director of WWE, WCW, and for a little bit he did it for TNA as well. So a great wrestling mind. I like, picking his mind and learning from him. So thanks for tweeting at me, though. I appreciate that, Vince. But anyways, let's get back to it. Surprise return of the year, which was won by Sting. I was anticipating that he would be there, but I didn't expect him to be underneath the drapes or the curtain of Seth Rollins' statue.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was very, very good.
It was a cool way to return.
Like when it happened, I was watching it in my dorm. I was like, oh my God. Or no, I think it was in the summer. No, I was home for that. Yeah, it was the Night of Champions. So yeah, I was like, oh my God. I was like I said OMG, so that could have been an OMG moment of the year.
You kind of have to figure that whenever WWE has a big presentation, that
some
things. Remember when Maria did Playboy and she revealed the cover and Santino's heads were over her boobs?
Yeah.
I mean, something always changed.
And see, like, what I thought was going to happen was, like, Sting was going to come out and he's going to beat everyone up with a bat, and then he was going to take his bat and just destroy Seth's statue. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I could see that.
But WWE, you did a fantastic job with Sting's return. But anyways, someone tweeted at me, hey, where's Sting? How come he didn't accept his award? Well, he's recovering from neck surgery. And speaking of his neck surgery, he announced it on the Ric Flair Woo podcast, which don't listen to Ric Flair's podcast. Why? Because BSSN is the best sports show nationwide. But anyways, he announced that he had neck surgery and that his career is most likely over. And the guy turns 57 in March, so it's about time. It's bittersweet. Hate to see him go, but it's the right time. And then everyone's like, well, when did he get injured? He got injured in his match against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions when he took a buckle powerbomb and he collapsed. But he finished the match like a true professional. But then people are probably going to be like, well, dang, Seth Rollins, he keeps on hurting people. You know what I mean? But no, he actually went on to say in that podcast that Seth Rollins is the best professional wrestler that he's ever wrestled against. And think about some people that Sting has wrestled against. Ric Flair, Goldberg, pretty much any superstar of WCW, he's fought.
Triple H.
He fought Triple H in the WWE in his WWE match. He's fought some legends. He's wrestled Hulk Hogan. So that's a huge compliment. But Sting, we wish you nothing best in your retirement. Hopefully, you're healthy. And everyone, I I would think that someone would be like, well, is he going to be able to walk again? Yes, he is going to be able to walk again. He will not be paralyzed from the waist down or anything like that, because that's always a popular topic whenever someone undergoes neck surgery. But anyways, after that was the first match that Stephanie created at the beginning of the show, which was the 3-on-2 handicap match, the New Day versus the Usos, which in my mind was a good handicap match, good storytelling. The Usos overcame the odds, and they won via roll-up. I thought it was a good match. Jeremy, what do you think?
Yeah, it was a decent match. I mean, I kind of predicted the Usos to win this, considering Stephanie McMahon's trying to screw Roman Reigns, and you're going to always have the good guy overcome right now.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured the Usos were going to win it, and Dean Ambrose was going to win later that night. So I kind of saw it coming, and that's what happened. But it was an overall good match.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was fantastic, good storytelling, and it was good for a 3-on-2 handicap match. Usually those matches, they kind of stink up the joint. But up next was my second or third favorite. I think my favorite part of it was Seth Rollins coming back, obviously, because I'm a Seth Rollins fanboy. And then second was probably the Owen Ziggler match, but this was by far, I think, my third, because R-Truth came out and he initially said that it was Paige, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, Paige won. Like, that's interesting.
That's my girl.
Yeah, that's Jeremy's girl. And it was kind of funny too, because I tweeted at Jeremy. I was like, "Hey, Paige won," because he wasn't able to watch it live. So I was texting him stuff, and I said, "I'll tweet it at him." And so I tweeted it at him. And then right after that, literally right after the tweet sent, R-Truth begins to make fun of Steve Harvey and said, "Hey, actually, wait a minute. I made a mistake." He's like, the actual winner is Nikki Bella. And Nikki Bella, she deserved it. She's the longest reigning defending Divas champion of all time. And she had a good year. And if you still think Nikki Bella sucks, you're crazy, because she's become such a great in-ring performer. She's come a long way. But, okay, so for people confusing the Steve Harvey situation, I don't get, why that's so funny. Jeremy, explain what happened with the Steve Harvey situation.
Oh, so Steve Harvey was the host of the Miss Universe pageant, and he announced that Miss Columbia, I believe, had won it, although on the sheet it said that she was the first runner-up, because apparently in pageants you say you're the first runner-up, and then first winner, which is just a nice way of saying you're the first loser.
Right.
So he had said that she won, and once she was claiming her title and everything, he said, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Blah, blah, blah is actually the winner." And now everyone's parodying him and making fun of him and made memes that said Happy Easter yesterday because it was Christmas and stuff like that. Yeah. But, so that was basically the lowdown on that. Right. And now Miss Columbia is suing Steve Harvey for causing distress in her life. Yeah, and drama, which... How is that reasoning for suing somebody? I don't know.
If anyone is having distress over this situation, it's Steve Harvey.
Yeah, right.
That guy is getting roasted on Twitter with the memes. Happy Easter, even though yesterday was Christmas.
And believe me, if you watch the video, he did feel really bad. You could see it in his eyes. He felt super bad.
He showed a great deal of apathy, towards the situation.
But people have no heart, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, my fourth favorite part, or actually low-key, this might be my favorite part of the entire episode of Raw, was Nikki Bella's dress. Whoo!
Oh my gosh! Woo. Dude, I pointed that out to my mom. I was like, "Mom, look what she's wearing. She's basically wearing underpants with a see-through dress."
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was like, man. I bet her dad is a really, really pissed off man. But
that's how I can tell Nikki and Brie apart, is Nikki's a slut and Brie is the good
classy,
girl.
Yeah. But man, that dress though. But anyways, and she gave a pretty good speech, I gotta say. It was very, very classy about, hey, if you're a girl and you have a dream, chase it. I'm living proof that dreams can happen. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyways, shout out to her for wearing that dress. Man, I'm still thinking about it. I lost my train of thought because I thought about it. But anyways, the next match was the breakout superstar of the year, Neville up against Rusev, where Rusev won via shenanigans, as what culture would say. I thought it was an okay match, and they did a good job protecting Neville by making him lose by pinfall and not by tap out to the Accolade. I don't think we need to talk about that match much, dude.
No.
It didn't have much story behind it.
No, not really.
It was kind of just like a time filler. But up next was the This Is Awesome moment, which was won by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Ronda Rousey, which was well-deserved in my mind. I'm perfectly okay with it. It was a pretty cool moment having them at WrestleMania together, having Rousey, do a hip toss to Triple H and, putting Stephanie McMahon in some type of arm submission. I think it was
kind of thing.
like a chicken wing,
yeah.
or something. But I thought it was cool. But once again, no appearance by The Rock. No appearance.
Rousey has said if she gets bored with the UFC or gets tired of it, that she's interested in joining WWE.
Yeah, more than likely we will see Ronda Rousey with World Wrestling Entertainment one day down the road. So that'll definitely be something to look forward to. But I was actually checking The Rock's Instagram before this, because usually when he's mentioning WWE, like he'll record a video of him talking and Instagramming out to his fans. He still has not mentioned the fact that he's won a Slammy, and Ronda Rousey hasn't mentioned it, which makes sense for Ronda Rousey. Like, I'm okay with Ronda Rousey because she's kind of MIA because she just got knocked out. She's still kind of like, she's
recovering.
Like, who knows? Like, maybe she just woke up today. I don't know. like she's been like in a coma after getting her head kicked off. But anyways, sorry to any Ronda Rousey fans out there. But
Rowdy Ronda
Rousey, where she got that nickname from the all-time late but great Roddy Piper. Rest in peace, Roddy Piper. We miss you a lot too. In my mind, one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. And,
I'm just shocked.
And I think he's the best wrestler of all time that never won the WWE Championship.
I mean, they're just falling down one by one now. I mean, like a third of the WrestleMania 5 or 6 competitors are now dead.
And like the oldest one is like 63.
63,
Isn't it like Hulk Hogan?
something like that. And I'm just like, no, the oldest one that's dead is 63. And it's like, oh my Lord. It's just amazing to me how...
And in my mind, a lot of people always say, "Oh, wrestlers die at young age." Well, back in the day, yes, because they didn't know the dangers of concussions. They didn't know the dangers of steroids
and drugs.
And now the new wellness policy in the WWE, where how they drug test, crazy. How they, if someone gets a concussion, like Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion and he's still out. That's the reason why Daniel Bryan's out. So they do a very, very careful, examination. Like, I think the new rule is 3 concussions and you're done.
Yep.
And that's why Corey Graves, the NXT former wrestler, now turned NXT announcer, is announcing now. So they're very, very smart about it now. So, people like John Cena, people like Seth Rollins, people like Roman Reigns, like, they're going to live a
to me,
life.
To me, Daniel Bryan is WWE's Derrick Rose. He's just not fit. As much of a competitor and great entertainer he is, he's just...
the D Rose of the WWE.
He's just always hurting, and sometimes you're not fit for it.
And anyone getting upset by that is a complete compliment, because Derrick Rose is a former MVP.
He's a great competitor. And it's not that you can't wrestle or can't play basketball. Sometimes your body just can't handle it.
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan's a fantastic wrestler, just he can't stay healthy. And that's just something you need in this business, to be able to stay healthy. We're not calling him, he's tough. Yeah, he's wrestled through injuries. He's a great guy, but he just can't stay healthy. And it's sad, because me and Jeremy, we both like everyone else. We like Daniel Bryan. So, but anyways, we got a little off subject, but that's fine. The next moment, or the next match, was Becky Lynch versus Brie Bella, where Becky Lynch won, which was good booking by the WWE because the younger star won. Were you okay with Becky Lynch winning?
Yeah. I mean, she's up and coming.
Yeah,
and Brie Bella's nothing without Nikki, so they've just been kind of using her as a jobber lately.
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt.
You said Jabba the Hutt.
Jobber lately.
Yeah, you might be thinking Star Wars. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to catch that after this or something.
All right, sounds
good.
But
anyways, because I've seen it. Have you yet?
I have not seen it yet. Shh, no spoilers. Don't tweet at me, assholes.
Yes. Don't be tweeting at them. Don't be tweeting at them spoilers, all right? But anyways, something I want to touch base with about the Becky Lynch Brie Bella thing was David, who's a part of BSSN Sports. He pointed out what Brie mode was to me. Like, I love when she says Brie mode, because I know she's about to do the kicks. I just like hearing her say Brie mode. I don't know why. And like, don't be tweeting at me like, ooh, you prefer a guy. Like, no, it doesn't get me off or anything like that. Like, I don't know. I just like it. It's just entertaining for some reason. Like, who knows? Maybe I'll buy a Brie Mode t-shirt. But anyways, I was just told what Brie Mode means, like the underlying message about it. Like, no, it's not like her getting ready to kick someone's head off. What it means is that someone pointed it out to me, I believe David did, that on Total Divas, they always say, hey, are we going to get Brie moded tonight? And everyone, you're like, wait, what? Like, pretty much Brie mode is a mode that Brie enters when she gets intoxicated or when she gets drunk. So that's like the underlying message. I think it's pretty funny. I like it for sure. But pretty much after that was the match of the year, which was announced by the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, every man's nightmare and every woman's dream, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, which was great to see him. I'm glad that we get to see him on a regular basis. Jeremy, he's not too fond of Ric Flair, but I like him. Anyways, the winner was Taker Lesnar at Hell in a Cell, which I think deserved it just because it's cool how like Brock ripped up the ring. Like that's never been done. And F5, the Undertaker on the wood of the ring. Like I thought
this match was every Undertaker fan's downfall. I idolized the Undertaker growing up. He was my favorite wrestler, still is, and this was our downfall, Undertaker fans, because this is the moment where you finally accepted that the Undertaker has been defeated by somebody. I mean, yeah, he's lost matches before, but he's never been conquered by somebody before. And that match just sucked as an Undertaker fan.
Right, and it was a good build, good story. Like
it was a great story.
It deserved it. But I'll tell you what, I want to do something a little bit off script, Jeremy. What is your favorite match that happened in 2015? Or I'll tell you what, your favorite moment or your favorite match of 2015? Because this is the last wrestling podcast, 2015, so we might as well.
It's probably Taker Lesnar.
Taker Lesnar.
Hell in a Cell. I mean, because that match just took me for an emotional roller coaster, especially being an Undertaker fan.
Yeah.
I mean, when he ripped up that canvas, it's all a pillow under there. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's wood.
And then Undertaker has tombstoned him, and I was like, yes, he did it. And then that damn Lesnar kicked out, and I was like, oh my God, Lesnar's actually going to take down the Undertaker twice. And then not only that, but when Undertaker did the tombstone sign, and then Lesnar low blowed him, and I was just like, oh my gosh, karma. That's karma.
Yeah.
Because Taker had low blowed Lesnar.
Yeah.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So it was great storytelling. It was beautiful, but it just sucked.
Yeah, those guys definitely got in the ring and they just wrote a freaking novel.
They did. And out of all people, I hate Brock Lesnar so much. So out of all people to defeat Taker, it was Lesnar. So, but it was a great match overall. Perfect.
Yeah. And now I'll tell you what though. My favorite match of the year is a match that everyone forgets about. I wasn't happy with the result, but you know what? It's okay. I swallowed and appreciate it because it was a fantastic wrestling match. But it was the U.S. Open Challenge match between John Cena and Seth Rollins, a.k.a. the match where Seth Rollins broke John Cena's nose.
Oh, yeah.
That match was freaking nuts because I was convinced they were going to stop it because John Cena's nose literally looked like a smushed banana.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, my God. I was just like, what a freaking match. And I actually gained respect for Cena. Because, speaking on someone that has broken their nose, okay, when I broke my nose, literally, you cannot see, you cannot breathe because you choke on your own blood.
Yeah.
It is one of the most discomforting injuries that can happen to you. So the fact that John Cena could finish a wrestling match and not injure his opponent, even though he couldn't really see and he couldn't really breathe, that's fantastic because he went on wrestling that match for 5-10 minutes and it just showed how truly a professional John Cena was. And I was surprised that wasn't a nominee, but I'm okay with Taker Lesnar being the winner of the match of the year because I think that by far was the best. So the little kids that were voting, they got that one right, surprisingly. They didn't pick some stupid match, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good job, kids. Good job. And then the main event of Monday Night Raw was Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus inside of a steel cage. It was a fast forward match.
Weird. Kind of a weird match.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
It was.
Weird ending, at least.
Yeah, and it was very, very slow. Like, they were chanting, "This is boring."
To a cage match.
Yeah, I'm like, man, what the heck? Like, why? Like, like steel cage matches are supposed to be like hardcore and cutting edge, and like really brute.
Yeah.
But like for some reason the fans were just like, oh, this is boring. Like they were chanting at the top of their lungs and But anyways, Jeremy, talk about the ending. I thought it was stupid.
Well, first of all, after Roman Reigns came in and stopped Sheamus from climbing out, they were both sitting on the top.
Yeah.
This is the first time where I go WTF because Roman Reigns is sitting there like, yay, buddy, good job, come on. He could have climbed his butt up the cage and knocked Sheamus off. That way Ambrose could have won.
Yeah.
The second time where I kind of scratched my head was when they're both hanging on the outside. Why don't you just jump off? And like you said, JBL was even like, just fall, just jump off.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the third time I was scratching my head is why are you punching the other dude when you're hanging on? Because if me and you are hanging on the side of the cage and I'm punching you, that's going to make you fall. Yeah. So that whole ending to the match was just kind of like, what? Because even when they were on the side of the cage, why wasn't Roman Reigns like going up there and like grabbing Ambrose and pulling him down or holding Sheamus up? Like, there were a lot of things that was just very weird. Instead, Roman Reigns was just sitting there being a cheerleader, and it was very odd.
And this is how boring the match was. This is my favorite part of the match. I thought this was the coolest part, was when Roman Reigns came out with the chair, and he threw it over the steel cage, and how it ended, like, it fell perfectly.
It unfolded and landed.
Yeah.
I thought that
was the coolest thing ever. I was like, man, that's like some Houdini shit.
That's
right
a
there,
WWE 2K14 15 glitch.
Yeah.
But it was literally like a WWE 2K15 game because, they had stamina.
Yeah.
Because Ambrose went off on Sheamus with the chair, and then when he was done with it, he just collapsed to the ground because he was out of stamina.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, get up and climb the cage. What are you doing?
Come on,
So that was an odd match.
Yeah, and then the ending of the match, the ending of the entire show was it was a backstage segment involving Stephanie McMahon and Todd Phillips, and Stephanie McMahon slapped the holy hell out of him, and this is going to make a lot of you guys laugh and say, what? Because it actually, Todd Phillips got injured. He got a big old shiner. He got a big old black eye. I'll tweet out the picture after this podcast is posted and published. But yeah, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, he got a black eye from that. So Stephanie McMahon, she's known for her hard slaps. And now she injured, a backstage guy.
She can hit.
So, but I was okay with the segment. I felt that it was a good storytelling because it showed how mad she was with all of her rapid slaps and all that. But we can both agree that the Dean Ambrose and Sheamus match was awful.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to end well for Roman Reigns, though, since a lot of things are going his way right now.
Yeah, because that was the story of the entire night. Like, pretty much Roman Reigns and even his friends and the Usos, the family, that's what they're known as. They keep on overcoming all the odds, and it's just going to make Stephanie grow.
Triple H comes back. I feel like Roman Reigns is going to be in for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a rude awakening.
Yep.
If anyone watched old school wrestling, he's going to have to go through what Shawn Michaels went through. The highway to hell.
Yeah.
As Vince McMahon would say. I apologize for my god-awful Vince McMahon impersonation, but I'm not...
You're fired!
Yes, you see, Jeremy does a better one. I'm no Frank Caliendo, though. I'll say that. But anyways, that was the entire episode of Raw. And then up next was Tuesday, a live SmackDown, which is still an unwatchable show. It was live on the USA Network, and by the way, guys... some kid was DMing me saying, does this mean SmackDown's on Tuesdays? Like, no, they just did it on Tuesdays just to promote the fact that it was on USA Network, to boost up the ratings for USA Network. It's going to go back on Thursdays. It also just gave the WWE superstars Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. That's the big reason on why they did it in my mind. But the only highlights of SmackDown was New Day retaining. They beat the Lucha Dragons, and then I thought it was actually a pretty good match. The triple threat match, the main event, Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC Championship. Ambrose retained. I thought it was all right. What do you think about SmackDown?
Which are we shocked that they retained in the first place. Because, I mean,
very predictable.
the title changed for the first time on Raw with Sheamus since when?
The Miz, when he
Since
passed him.
The Miz. So, I mean, do we really think the title's ever going to change on SmackDown?
Yeah.
No. So, I mean, it wasn't a shocker. SmackDown's a terrible show.
Yeah. It's the B-list show.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but... I mean, SmackDown 10 years ago was good because they didn't give a crap about spoilers. They would make it a good show, and if you liked watching spoilers, then you did, and if you didn't, you still watch the show.
Yeah.
But it's awful. It is.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I didn't watch Tribute to the Troops, but Jeremy did, so I'm going to let Jeremy talk about Tribute to the Troops.
Coming from a military family, I always loved and looked forward to Tribute to the Troops growing up, but it has completely lost its meaning and validity. I loved it growing up because it really showed the troops that we are thinking about them while they're overseas, and it gave the troops something to take their mind off of being overseas, take their mind off their family, take their mind off their struggles, and just have some fun. And I loved that they took one day a year to go and have some fun with those troops. But now it's awful. They don't go overseas anymore, and the show isn't just for troops. Yeah, they go to naval bases, they go to army bases and stuff like that, but it's just not as special at all anymore. And I just don't like it that much. And it's pre-recorded. They recorded it back in like
a month ago,
the beginning of December, like December 2nd.
Yeah.
And they showed it a couple days ago. So it's just completely lost all of its meaning, and it's nowhere close as special as it used to be.
Absolutely. And I agree with all of Jeremy's points on that one. Now, you guys might be asking, Blake, you're a big WWE fan. Why in the world were you not watching Tribute to the Troops? Because I was watching NXT. I'm not going to talk about all of it, but if you don't watch it, it's a good show. It's only an hour long. It's only on the WWE Network, which you can purchase for $9.99. You're welcome, Vince McMahon, for that little plug-in. But in my mind, great, fantastic wrestling. Like, sometimes you have to remind yourself that this is developmental. These guys are not professionals yet, and they're very, very young, but they are seriously so talented. But anyways, the show kicked off with a Fatal 4-Way match, which was won by Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. If you have the WWE Network, go rewatch that match. Highly entertaining stuff. And Jason Jordan, you will become a big fan of him. Like, in my mind, he's the black Kurt Angle. Like, yes, and I know how good Kurt Angle is, but seriously, like, Jason Jordan has such a bright future. Like, you can't even fathom how good that man is. And Chad Gable is just as good. But then the show ended with the highly anticipated of Sami Zayn, which was great. Sami Zayn's been out of action for a shoulder injury that he suffered during his entrance against John Cena in the U.S. Open Challenge when he wrestled in front of his hometown crowd in Montreal, Canada, or Quebec, I should say, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Sorry to all my Canadian listeners out there. But overall, it was a pretty good show. After the match, Sami Zayn, he returned, beat Ty Dillinger, and then ended the show with a pretty good promo, getting the fans hype about his highly anticipated return. So I thought it was pretty good. And anyone interested in watching NXT, it's on every single Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So what we're going to do to end the show is we're just going to go ahead and give a grade to each and every show. So we're going to start out with Monday Night Raw. Jeremy, in my mind, Monday Night Raw got a 91% A-. It completely exceeded my expectations of, the slammies, because usually the slammies are like, it's
definitely
boring. But, it was actually very exciting because we got a few surprises. We got to see Seth Rollins.
Yep.
We got to see John Cena's return got announced, which was huge. And also, we got to see some really, really good matches. So I was pleasantly surprised. And then Jeremy, what would you grade Monday Night Raw?
I found it funny, first of all, how they called it the most prestigious award show.
Yeah.
Really?
It's like kids are voting, not Academy. But,
they're going to do anything to promote themselves. But I'll give it a solid A- along there with you. Normally I give Raw a solid B+, but
yeah,
it was entertaining. I liked it. Besides the Del Rio Swagger match, and that rivalry needs to end. But it was good. I liked it. A-.
Yeah, absolutely. So we both agree that got an A-, and then let's go in chronological order. Let's give SmackDown a grade. In my mind, SmackDown got a 69% D+. And guys, please no perverted jokes. Yes, I said 69, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to give it a 68% D+. Jeremy, what would you say?
I wouldn't even give it a grade. I'd give it a pass or fail, and it failed. It's just a passing or failing grade, and the only reason that it didn't drop out was because the SmackDown commercials.
Yeah,
that are moving to the USA. Dude, those are funny. Like, the Wyatts trying to check in and stuff like that, or Roman Reigns sitting there trying to put a box together. Like, those are funny. But those are probably the only reason I would even consider giving SmackDown a single % or two.
Yeah, and now the only reason why I gave it a passing grade was just the main event. I thought it was a good match. Dean Ambrose, Ziggler, and Owens for the IC Championship. I thought it was a good match. That's the only reason why, in my mind, it got a passing grade. And guys, it's going to be on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock on SmackDown, not Tuesdays. That was pretty much a very, very special event. That's why they called it Super SmackDown Live. But anyways, tribute to the troops. I give it F. Completely.
Fail, yeah.
We don't need to talk about it. We already ranted about it.
It's a tribute to the troops. I mean, it's what the title says, but other than that, nope.
Yeah, and if they're going to do a tribute to the troops, a tribute to the biggest heroic people that this country has to offer,
it should be a good show.
Yeah, you shouldn't give them throwaway, 8-man tag matches.
Yeah, just BS, and then throw Train in the middle of it, or Howie Mandel.
Yeah, Howie Mandel has been dead since Deal or No Deal, and Train hasn't recorded a song in 3 years.
They played Drops of Jupiter, for God's sake. You want wrestling. You don't want a concert and a comedic performance. Maybe you do, but I want to go watch wrestling. I want Santa Claus.
Here's an idea, yeah. You know what they need to do? They need to book a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match on Tribute to the Troops. You can have the champ retaining just because you don't want the belt to lose value and for it to be shown on free television.
Or maybe you do.
Maybe
you throw it out there and go balls deep. I don't know, but you gotta give the troops something. They're sacrificing their lives for you, and you give them Train.
And don't you give them Train. And here's the thing, give them people that they want to see. Instead of Howie Mandel, maybe you bring back a WWE legend like Stone Cold.
Yeah, or you give them Kevin Hart. Give them something they want to see.
And you want to give them a concert. How about you give them a John Cena concert? Something that they haven't seen in years.
Wow.
There's so many ideas they could do to change it. But the big thing they need to do, this is the big thing that makes me mad. Instead of making the troops come to you, you go to them.
Exactly.
And you get back to overseas.
Like I said, it's just ridiculous.
So big fat red F for tribute to the troops. And NXT, I love NXT. I'm a big fan of their work. And usually they do better than Monday Night Raw. But this week, I think Raw edged them out by a little bit. I'm going to give NXT an 88% B+.
It's funny that you say that because it's funny when a developmental program is doing better than the main show.
Yeah, and that's usually the case. They steal the show. And also, speaking of NXT, something that I forgot to mention, during the Becky Lynch versus Brie Bella match, they were chanting for Bayley.
No way.
Yeah, I caught that. It was very, very brief.
We want some Bayley.
Yes, easily one of the best chants in all of professional wrestling.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's huge for her. So.
I agree. I give NXT a B+ just because Raw edged them out just a tad this week.
Yeah. So in layman terms, pretty much Raw did great, SmackDown did bad. Tribute to the Troops did awful, and NXT did pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps it up for this edition of BSSN Wrestling. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, BSSN_sports, and also big thanks to everyone so far that has bought T-shirts. If you want to buy some T-shirts, check out David's Twitter profile, Deacon_Sheely, SCHIELE. He has a few wrestling shirts up. I'm going to explain them very briefly. His 2 wrestling shirts that are up is Black Wrestlers Matter, which is pretty funny because, a black wrestler getting pushed in the WWE is slim to none. And also, this one's even more funny. This will probably get a good kick out of Jeremy, black refs matter because they always get the worst matches on the card. And he's going to pin those to his profile, so be sure to check him out and DM him to discuss prices. And also, numerous people have already bought some BSSN sports shirts, so that's much appreciated. Just DM me and we can negotiate prices as well. And thanks to everyone that has already purchased a t-shirt. So until next time, guys, I'm Blake Wright and he's Jeremy Allen, and stay classy, BSSNers.